how can I get rid of all this resentment if I can't let go? When do I ever heal the scars that keep reopening? Hey guys, thank you for coming to my channel. This is Sandy Ruby Mello, and I'm here to talk about forgiveness, letting go, and healing. So in this video, one of the first things that I want to talk about is forgiveness. And there's three aspects of forgiving for me in reality. I feel like in order to forgive, you may have to forgive God if you believe in God, because we blame God for most of our trials. And maybe if you don't believe in God, maybe you might have some type of resentment towards life and or your life circumstances. Why me type of mentality, and or when other people disappoint you or hurt you or do bad things to you. Those are the three aspects of forgiveness that I'm going to talk about right now. What does it mean to forgive? Forgiving, and this is from Google, it says stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone for an offense, flaw, or mistake. That's what it means to forgive. And a psychologist, which is from Google as well, says generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or a group who has harmed you, regardless of whether they actually deserve your forgiveness. That's heavy. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning or excusing offenses. So, okay, it sounds good on paper, yeah, but then when certain people do, or when you do certain things, or when life is happening in general, it's hard to really kind of forgive. And I've had to learn to forgive on almost every situation, on every problem that I've ever dealt with. I've had to learn how to forgive again. It's not something, even though I forgive really, I consider the way that I forgive people easy, is it's not always so easy. Not everybody is able to forgive because the pain is so unbearable, and it's, it's just so unbearable that you can't forgive. And why would you need to forgive God? So when I lost my child to cancer, it was unbearable. In fact, in the video that I just referenced, Disability Woes, I tell you a brief description about my resentment towards God. I don't know why God allows suffering sometimes. And even though I've asked that question so many different times, every season of my life, when I do ask those types of questions, it causes me to blame God for things that He's allowed. And I know sometimes people might think that God is not paying attention, but I really feel like He is. And so whether God did something to me or not, because I feel like God has allowed certain things to happen, and I personally don't believe in coincidences or things happening by chance. I believe that everything is ordained and destined and organized by the source, God, Jesus. And I feel like everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to, the way God designed it to be. And like I said in the other video, God will use everything, good and bad, for our ultimate good, for our ultimate growth lessons or whatever reason God has put us here for love, basically. People are going to hurt you. People will disappoint you. People are human, and learning to forgive them can be a long process as well. However, forgiveness and letting go is an ultimate healing process. It allows you to heal so that you can love, grow, and then progress. So all of them kind of like intertwine with each other. Can't have one without the other, really. Can't really let go of something if you don't forgive the situation or person. Can't truly heal or truly forgive if you don't know how to forgive God, forgive yourself, and forgive others. First, you got to acknowledge that the hurt is existing, that you are in pain, that you do have an issue. And then you got to consider how this pain, this hurt, this situation has affected you. The next way to figure out to forgive, the next step in forgiveness is accepting that you can't change the past. And you got to determine whether you're going to forgive or not with the situation. And sometimes you get to that point and you feel like you're not going to be able to forgive. You don't have to forgive right away, but forgiveness is, like they say, is not for them, it's for your inner self, for your inner peace. The next thing is try to find the lesson out of the problem. There's always something to learn in every situation, no matter how minute. And sometimes you may not understand that lesson until later on. Sometimes we go through certain things to share with other people so that they can be able to learn from our mistakes or learn from what other people have done. And that within itself is therapy and helping you repair yourself. So when a situation is so overwhelming, like when I lost my child and I didn't know why, and was asking God all these questions, and I just really needed to know, to be at peace and to get clarity and to figure out when he was alive, I didn't know if he was going to die. And even though he was on um, life support the last month of his life, he died at 15 months. One of the ways that I was able to forgive God was a mixture of mantras and a whole bunch of the other steps that I'm going to talk about that I got from this particular article. And this article, again, is from healthline.com. The first thing that they talk about is using a mantra to counter the painful thoughts. Because even now, I deal with a lot of painful thoughts from my past. And being that I'm writing my book, it's been so hard to get everything out because it's like reliving these things over again. And it's like reopening these scars. And it's like, will I ever be able to heal from them if I don't, let them go and just choose to think otherwise? So in order to counter these negative thoughts, I infuse myself with positive affirmations or have vision parties where I'm imagining myself in a different, like an imagination party, I would call them sometimes, and just put myself in scenarios where, I'm enjoying life, I'm enjoying myself, I'm enjoying what this life has to offer, and just entertain these details in my mind. So you got to do your own work. It's a choice, really. You have to choose to forgive. You have to choose to let go. You have to choose to heal. And in the article, it also talks about doing your own work, practicing mindfulness, and being gentle to yourself. These things are definitely needed in order for you to grow. And in the article, it says focusing on yourself is important. You have to make the choice to address the hurt that you've experienced. When you think about a person who caused you pain, bring yourself back to the present. Then focus on something that you're grateful for. Philippians 4, verse 6. Don't worry about anything, pray about everything, tell God what you need, and thank Him for what you already got. That's another way that helps me forgive and let go, is through prayer and meditation and being mindful of the things that I can't control, um, and just enjoy my present and learn how to live in the now and be accepting of what I am capable of doing now, and being thankful for all the progress that I've made before and overcame before, and don't take away from my journey, and not let one of many issues that are to come um, take away from my growth and my progress and my success and my abundance. So sometimes, like, we can be hard on ourselves, and we kick ourselves for allowing this person to hurt you, or kick ourselves for making this particular decision. But in reality, we're humans and we all make mistakes, and there's no race. We're all learning a specific lesson designed for our own journey. Allow yourself to feel some of these emotions. Sometimes we don't want to feel bad things or negative emotions, or, it just causes us stress, and we don't want to feel, we just isolate ourselves, or um, just don't want to deal with certain things. And then when you're forgiving and learning to let go of certain things, you gotta accept that the other person may not apologize, and or life might not apologize back. And verbatim, she says, the more we can implement self-care into our daily lives, the more empowered we are. From that space, our hurts don't feel as overwhelming. The next thing that you want to do is you want to give yourself permission to talk about it. And in the article, it says when you're dealing with painful feelings or situations that hurt you, it's important to give yourself permission to talk about it. The one particular doctor says that this may be because the people around them no longer want to hear about it. What is it? Sometimes people can't let go because they feel they are not allowed to talk about it. This may be because the people around them no longer want to hear about it, or the person is embarrassed or ashamed to keep talking about it. However, talking about it is very important. That's why it's always good to have a friend or a therapist. And one of the last questions that I really want to address is, what does it mean to love? And in the Bible, the definition goes as this, and this is 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. And I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but loses. Sorry, I lost my place. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Amen. So I know that sometimes when you're going through a situation, it feels like it would be so hard to forgive. But in the Bible, it says, and I'm sure everybody's heard this phrase, where Jesus says, if somebody hurts you, slaps you on one side of the cheek, you turn your other cheek for them. And if somebody steals one of your items, you give them your cloak or something like that. And if you're going to forgive, you got to forgive 77 times, times 7. It's not an easy thing to do. But it's there on purpose because God knows that we would need instructions on why to forgive, how to forgive, and all that good stuff. Because if you truly want to love God, yourself, and others, which is the ultimate command that Jesus left behind, love God with all your might and soul, love others like you love yourself. In order for you to truly love anything or anybody, you have to implement all of these things. And thank you again for coming by, do all the wonderful stuff to advance my channel. You guys, thank you again.